Well, greetings and good morning, Computer Application for Manager students. This is week 8 in our 9-week course, and as you know, we just got through a major disruption with Canvas, which meant that you weren't able to access Canvas for at least a couple of days. I'm going to do what I can to help you and give you a little more time to turn in assignments. So I'm going to move the due dates for this week's assignments till Wednesday. So you have till Wednesday to get done with last week's assignments, I'm sorry, which was the beginning and intermediate skills in PowerPoint. And then this week, what you're supposed to be working on is advanced skills. And what I'm going to end up doing is just kind of putting everything back. So technically, you'll have till the last day of class to get everything done. I think the last day of class ends on like the 13th or 14th, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the whole entire next weekend. So as long as you get everything in by the 17th, I will grade it and give you credit, even though the class may technically end before that. But I believe they did move the calendar date back a few days based off of the disruptions that we had with Canvas. So this week you're going to be looking at advanced PowerPoint skills, and you're going to be learning about how to put tables into PowerPoint. You're going to learn about transitions and animations, and you're also going to be learning about charts, and then just the value of using the internet when creating PowerPoint presentations, because not only are there already made presentations, but there's a lot of great templates that you can use to lay out your charts and to lay out your slides, etc. So we're going to look at a few of those things. What I'd like to do is start by just showing you a couple things in PowerPoint that I have done. I use PowerPoint all the time. I'm very familiar with it, and it's a powerful program, and I've learned how to do quite a bit with it on my own. I don't think I even took a class on it. I just tinkered around and figured it out, but you're going to be learning formally how to do some of these things. So this is a presentation I do in another class called the 4 Significant Life Events. If you take my business BCOT 247 here at Cerritos, or if you take a business class, business communications class from me at another school, I teach this at multiple colleges. I will have you do an event similar, or an assignment similar to this, which is your 4 significant life events, and it's creating a PowerPoint presentation about those events. So here is mine. I actually have it all broken down into about 6 slides, 7 slides, and I'm going to show you a couple things with my presentation that I think will be helpful. First off, let's just say you want to add a new slide. You probably already learned this in the basic skills, but I just come to my presentation and I go ahead and right click it, and it says here new slide. So now it gave me a brand new slide to start creating. And since I want to do a table, I'm going to go ahead and I can select the icon to do a table right here on the image that it created, or I can come up here and I can do insert. Let's cancel that. I can do insert table, and it'll let me select how big I want it and how deep I want it. So there you go. And then of course I have all these options once I do that to change the color, to do shading, to fill them a different color, to put text in each box, and then how to lay out the text by laying out my table. So it's a really powerful tool, and of course table is a great way to show a lot of information, especially detailed information. If you have a lot of data, it's really great to put it in a table. If you're trying to put together like a plan for your business and you're trying to demonstrate, your growth each month, a table is a great way to display that data. That way, um, your readers and your viewers are able to actually see it in a way that makes a lot easier sense to make sense of it, a lot more clarity than just having it all in text or in a paragraph, or even in this case, a bullet list. So that's the first thing I want to show you about. I'm not going to make a table, but I just wanted to at least touch on that briefly. So let me go back, and now I want to show you how to do transitions. So this is let me show you the slideshow and how we I use what's called builds on your slides. And those builds allow you to put one item up at a time versus everything at once, right? So if you're speaking and you're giving a presentation and you want to really have your audience track with you, it's really great to build your slides as you go and not just put everything up at once. So I'll show you what I mean by that. If I come up here and I do slideshow and I start the slideshow from the beginning, I'm going to continue to share. I can go ahead and if you notice it was a blank screen, and then when I hit my space bar or my down arrow, it actually adds content. So I built my slide to be able to be built, and then I even hit it again, and now it says in no particular order. I hit the space bar again, and now I'm looking at the next slide, but it only put up the first item. And every time I hit the space bar, it adds new items to my slide. You might say, why should I do that? Because if you're speaking and I put it all up at once, your audience is going to read everything that's up there and they're not listening to what you're saying. Whereas if you build your slide, one item at a time, I can talk. First thing I want to talk to you about is getting hitched, and I can talk for however long I want to, and you're paying attention to just that topic. And then when I go to the next topic, you're paying attention now to that topic rather than everything being up at once. So I'm going to show you how to build your slide and how to utilize animations. And I do the same thing on all my slides. I'm hitting my space bar every time something's coming up here. And that's what we call building your slide or animating your slide. So how do I do it? Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to lay out your slide exactly as you want it. So this, I basically created text boxes. You might say, well, how did I do that? I just went up here to insert text box right here. I selected that, and when I select that, it allows me to draw a text box and I can type whatever I want in it. So I did that for all of these, and then of course, once you type it, you can move it wherever you want on the screen. And then I did the same thing for all of these. They're all just text boxes with the text in it. So I basically would just do a new text box. I would type in the amount. I'd do another text box. I'd type in what I wanted. And then I moved it to where I wanted it. And then the same thing with pictures. So here I just added a graphic. I went to Google Images and I just found some images that related to the topic. And I went up here, once I downloaded them to my computer, I went up here to pictures. I said pictures from a file. So I went to the file somewhere on my computer, wherever I saved it. I selected the picture, I inserted it right here, and then it showed up on the screen. It probably showed up looking like this. And so, okay, well, great. I got it on the screen. Now I need to shrink it down to a size that I want and then move it into the location I want it to be in. And PowerPoint kind of helps you. If you notice, it gives you some little red lines to kind of line things up. So I lined it up right where I wanted it, and I did that 4 times for the 4 different pictures. I placed them all on the screen the way that I wanted it, and now my slide is basically complete. However, there are no animations until I add them. So here's the animations up here at the very top. If I select animations, now I have all these options for which to animate my slide as it's being built. And right now I do have animations turned on. I already showed you that. If I was to go through and play the show again from this point on, if I play from current slide, every time I select the space bar, it puts up the next item. Okay, that's what I mean by builds. But let's go ahead and select animations here. And if you notice, it opens up a thing here called animation pane. And what that is really kind of a list of everything that you have animated on that slide. And if you notice, it's got numbers next to it. So 0 and 1 are the first one, then 2 is the second 2. So it has touring, which is the text, and it has the picture associated with that. And so what I did was I animated it. So if I was to remove all this animation, do that. Now if I was to play my slide from the beginning, slideshow, or from this current slide, it all just comes up, right? So notice I'll go back one, and if I go to my next slide, it'll all come up. You ready? Boom, that's all up. I didn't build my slide. So now I want to animate it. So now it's basically at the point where it was when I first created it. And it's real easy to animate it. All you need to do is go to animations, and then you select and hold the shift key down on the 2 items if you want to, or 1 item if you only want one that you want to animate. And now that I've only selected those 2, I can come up here and select the form of animation. So I'm going to pick stripes. So that's called stripes. So notice it puts a 1 next to it, and it also shows up in my animation pane, which again, I just click this up here to add the animation pane. That way I can see what order they're going to come in. Then I select the next 2 items by holding the shift key down. And then this time I want them to appear. Notice they're added to the pane. And then I'm going to select the next 2 items, and I'm going to make this one fly in. All right, and then I'm going to select my last 2 items in this case, and I'm going to make that one do split. Okay, so notice now that they're all showing up as animated by these numbers next to them, and they're also showing up in my animation pane. If I want to move the order of any of them, I can certainly just slide it where I want it. and it'll change the order. That's what the pane is for. And now if I was to play my show again from the current slide, notice nothing comes up yet because I haven't hit the space bar, but once I do, Hitched comes up, Touring comes up, On Mission comes up, and they come up in the animation for which I chose. So that's what we mean by using animations in PowerPoint, and it really does make your presentation a little more appealing and a little more exciting. So those are the items I wanted to cover in this video today, along with kind of the announcements for the week. So let me stop sharing this. And I do want to show you really quick that you could search the internet and you could find some other templates. So I just put in there PowerPoint templates and I searched, and right here are some free PowerPoint templates. So you can select that and you can search for these. And so they have different ones that are that you can scan through here, presentation templates, easy to customize flyers. And you can find some templates, you can download those, and then you can use those as your background. As you noticed in my presentation, I had a really cool background. I downloaded that from the internet, and that's how I got that cool background. But there's also templates within PowerPoint, which I'm sure you've already looked at and used in the prior assignments that you did. So, all right, well, let's take a look then at what you're going to be doing this week uh, as we as we go into PowerPoint here. So you should be seeing my screen. Let me stop sharing that and make sure I got the right screen up. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and come down to module number 4, which we're in module number 4. We have 2 weeks left. This is week 8, and then you have week 9 next week. So everything that was due last week on your basic and intermediate skills, I'm going to give you till Wednesday of this week. So don't worry about the due dates. They're all still open. Nothing's going to close, so you can still do them. Then working on next week, where you have these advanced skills that I've been talking about, make sure you complete the study plan, and the quiz will be completed as you do the study plan. And then of course you have your modify an existing PowerPoint presentation assignment. So work through that, and that's pretty much it. It's an easier week because, like as I mentioned, I usually have you do 2 study plans and then 1. So this is the week where you only have 1, and all you have is an assignment. But going into next week, you will have a final discussion post. You will have a final assignment where you're creating an industry analysis, and you'll have a capstone presentation that you need to do. So all of these assignments here, the quiz, discussion, assignment, are all based on the study plan called integration. And then you'll have your final assignment, which is creating a capstone presentation. So I'll be doing another video on that, and I'll do some instruction on that integration piece next week in our video. But have a great week. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If not, you will see me on our final video next week. Have a great week, everyone.